Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the shed. I'm Lonnie, and it is time to get to work. I have a few orders to pull. Actually, I have just 3 orders to pull that are going out today, eBay orders. And of course, I've got the knives that are going out today too, but eBay only 3. And the thing is that my eBay stores are, the inventory levels in them pretty low. I've been selling a bunch and I haven't been I've been listing a pretty good bit, but the stuff has just been selling so fast that I don't have that much listed anymore. So it's hard to get a lot of sales if you don't have a lot of listings, right? But anyways, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. All 4 of these DVD lots sold. So let me go ahead and move those over to the bench, then we'll talk about them. All right, like I said, all 4 of these DVD lots sold. And this first one sold to Irene. She bought these 20 for $14.99 plus shipping on top. Thank you very much, Irene. I do appreciate the business. And then the other one, or excuse me, the other 3 actually sold to Brian. DVD lot 1, 3, and 5. These all sold to Brian. And so it's a total of 60 DVDs for $45. So thank you very much, Brian. Hope you enjoy. And I'm gonna ship Brian's order in this box right here, 14, 14, 12. And I think Irene's order is probably going to go in one of these 12 by 10 by 8. It might even be a little cut down going on for that, or I might even be able to fit yeah, it'll probably be in this, but they're definitely going to go media mail. And the only other thing that sold was a video game for PSP. It's right here, NCAA. Good title to look out for, I guess. NCAA football 2010 for Sony PSP. This sold for $29.99 plus shipping on top. So this is the 3 lots. That's Irene's package right here in this box. Ended up being, oh, I did resize it. I used the box resizer on it. But this is the lot of 3 DVDs, 3 DVD lots, 60 DVDs total. I used one of these 14, 12 boxes. Weighs 15.3 pounds. Should be expensive, right? Oh yeah, it's media mail, so it's not. $10.84 is the postage on that. And they paid like the postage on each one. So this is the part, I actually had a question about this yesterday, about refunding, and I'm not telling anybody else to do this because I've actually seen other people put videos up how you should never refund postage, right? So, and maybe you subscribe to that, that's cool. But yeah, here's where I'm refunding the postage right here. I realized I didn't actually answer the question yesterday. They said, how do you do it? You go to the actual transaction on PayPal, like right here, and total refund amount, I'm refunding $7. Amount refunded by you, $7. If you still get, for however it happens, if you still get refunded your PayPal fees, it would show up here. Maybe it would be like amount refunded by you, $6.70 or something like that. In my case, I don't get that. So anyways, and then a note to the buyer, and then hit issue refund, and it'll take it off of amount remaining. So if there's somehow, I don't expect there to be a problem with this, but if there ever, like at some point, if there was an issue with that purchase, you know, and it's, you know, the buyer says, hey, these things are horrible, or hey, I never got this item, never received it, and then there's no delivery scan, and I ended up having to like eat it and refund that purchase there, that $7 that I refunded, I would only have to refund the rest of the money they paid. Much later, and I've been going down this aisle just grabbing knickknacks as I like. No real rhyme or reason to it. and just listing a few things and moving them over to the other side, clearing out a little space. I think after a little bit more listing, I'll be able to kind of combine some of the shelves and maybe get an empty shelf in here, which will be good, and just keep on going. That's what I'm gonna be doing probably over the next couple of weeks, just listing through all this stuff. But this is what I've got pulled out right now to work with. This thing is pretty cool. I've never seen one like this. I've seen plenty of the little I love selling this kind of stuff. It's not huge money. I've seen plenty of the kits where they have the little springs and you put wires in between the springs to connect the stuff. But if you look at this is a little different. Like, I think this is looks like a little diode in here. They put the components in these plastic blocks. So here's just a resistor that they soldered in, and there's contacts on all four sides of it, and you just connect the little blocks in here to create the circuits. And they have some, of course, that are just like wires to make circuits. In this case, there's a lamp on this one, and the rest of it is all just wiring. And this is how you make your circuits up, is just by plugging in these blocks, and the blocks connect to each other on all four sides. And then I did an inventory already. I do have all the pieces to it. Looks like these pieces here have never been used, and yeah, it's 100% complete. And what I did was I went ahead and wired up the first project. The reason I wanted to test it, there was some corrosion in the battery compartment, which I cleaned out with alcohol and deoxit, and I wanted to make sure it was working. So I wired up the first circuit, and boom, it's working. There's a light. That's all that first project does, is get that light going. So pretty cool little kit though. I love selling stuff like this. I'll sell stuff like this for a little less profit than other stuff that I don't like so much. Question from Josh White. Hey Lonnie, quick question. If you had a t-shirt listed on eBay and a buyer buys and receives the item and then messages you that the shirt is the wrong size, you then look and see that you mistyped the size in exactly one area of the listing, but the photos show the tag being what it was. Is the seller at fault or the buyer? Well, the seller, to put it really plain and simple. Yeah, if your item is misdescribed, even though there's photos that show to the contrary, show what it really is, the buyer is not, they're not required to fact check what your words say. Like, it's literally item not as described. So, and I'm not getting on you, because I do it too. Like, I've done it plenty of times. Sometimes it's something in the title, or I did a sell similar, or sometimes I just mess up, you know. But yeah, you got to eat that one. You know, you got to take the return or whatever it is you want to do to make it right. But yeah, that's on you. Okay, David V 2002. Is there anything wrong with using newspapers as packing material? Okay, so I don't like using newspapers as packing material for a couple of reasons. Number one, newspaper is typically like very, very thin, and once you like crumple it up and stick it in there, I find that it doesn't, like, it takes a lot of newspaper to void fill. Also, once it crumples up, it's not very elastic about popping back out. So I find that it just doesn't, like if it has a force put on it, then it doesn't expand back once that force is removed, if that makes any sense. Also, like I said, it takes a lot of newspaper, so I find it adds a lot of weight. And yeah, I don't typically care about looking professional, but I also don't think that newspaper looks very professional. Now, what I do like to use, I mean, it depends on what you're packing, right? But I use this stuff. I buy a big thing of it at Sam's. I don't remember how many. Let me roll. I just keep it down here. I don't use it a lot. I try to use it very little. I usually try and use bubble wrap, or instead of void fill, cutting the box down to size using one of my handy dandy box resizers. rather than void fill is usually best. But I do use this, and honestly, this is kind of, it's a little thicker than newspaper, I think, in my opinion. Yeah, actually, it's a lot thicker than newspaper. I don't know that much about paper weights, but yeah, I don't advise using newspaper. I just don't think it works well. Okay, one more. Robbie Jordan. I recently had a package arrive damaged to the customer. I accept 30-day returns, but the buyer pays return shipping. So first, let me stop right here. 30-day returns, but buyer pays return shipping. That's great. But as soon as that item arrived at your buyer damaged, you can take that return policy and throw it out the window. It has nothing to do with this case now, because they did not receive the item as described. So that your return policy does not apply to something that's damaged or not as described. The buyers wanted to return it, but me pay the return shipping. Okay, that sounds reasonable. And he says eBay will force me to. Again, that sounds reasonable. When I received the return request, it asked to provide a label, but I received an email saying the buyer has until a certain date to pay return shipping and return it. It sounds like the buyer just opened a normal return, and they've kind of put themselves in a spot where they have to pay the return shipping, which is weird. But if they had they sent you photo, like there's some information here we don't know, like how much is the item worth prior to getting damaged? What kind of damage does it have? Does the item still have value in its current state? Like, is there a reason why you want this item back? Was this item insured? Like, I don't know any of this stuff, so it makes it almost impossible to answer the question. But I'll give you an example. If I ship out this ceramic cup here, and to you buy it for $15, and I ship it to you, and it arrives broken, and you want to open a return. Well, if it has insurance, I'll file the insurance. I'll ask you to send me a picture. Oh yeah, it's broken. Sorry, man. Really sorry. Here's your money back. Keep it, throw it away, whatever. But if it's something else, maybe it's a stereo receiver, and you send me a photo, and it's like there's a big dent in it, but it still works. Well, now it has some value still, and we could either negotiate a partial refund. I don't love doing partial refunds, but that would be a case where I would consider it, rather than having to pay to get the thing shipped back to me. So it gets complex depending on what the item is, how much value does it still have, was it insured, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, bottom line, usually on damaged stuff, I'm not trying to get the item sent back, and you should not have it sent back until a postal, if you did it through the post office and you have insurance, get that settled first, open that claim. They typically don't want you to reship it, because now even more damage could happen on the reship, right? It's on you, but assuming that you have insurance on it, you file the claim or whatever, and you don't want the item back, then I would just go ahead and refund, go to the return case, refund the money, and message them, say, hey, don't return it, or do return it, or whatever. But if you want it back, if you want it returned, don't refund the money until you get it back, obviously. And hopefully you have insurance. So, but anyway, that is going to be it for today. Thank y'all very much for watching. See y'all next time. Bye-bye.